So we're now in Vientiane in Laos, and we brought the students of FS19 here. We've noticed that there are a lot of connections up and down the river, not least of all in relation to the urban spaces that we visited. So we started out our journey in Phnom Penh. And in Phnom Penh, we see a lot of new riverside and riverfront developments which are occurring. And similarly here in Vientiane, we see that the whole riverfront is really being transformed. There are lots of new embankments, the area of development has been widened, there's some new commercial activities and some activities which have been built already but have still yet to get customers and clients. And so you can see that there's been a kind of privatization of riverbank space. But it's not all about privatization, because equally in Phnom Penh and in Vientiane, we've seen a lot of partially public space where people can do aerobics. They can set up small stalls to sell things, and people have picnics, and they use the spaces for recreation.
So now you can really feel that we're in the wetland, but I think you can see that it doesn't look too much like a wetland anymore. It's a transformed wetland. So it's become a very socially produced form of nature, in that there's a lot of different social activities that are going on here. One thing that you can see is that there is a very clear channel of water coming in this way that I mentioned. This connects to the Mekong. And what I was discussing earlier is that in the past, this whole area would have been kind of semi-flooded with water, and varying at different times of the year, of course. But what they've done is they've dredged this central channel to make it much deeper, so that water can still flow through this wetland without creating the risk of flooding, but also that allows them to kind of dry out the land to the side so that it can be acquired as part of this road project. But also there's a lot of other land sales that are going on because of this transformation, that it makes the land much more attractive to sell and to buy, because it's no longer going to be flooded in the same way that it was in the past. So really the values of the land are changing dramatically, from being valued for agriculture or for being valued for fishing and collecting snails and crabs and other water vegetables, to being valued for its potential as real estate development in monetary terms. Very large wetland, and it's really one of the last remaining wetlands in Vientiane. Its total size is 2,000 hectares. It really dominates a big part of the city because it takes up so much space. So originally, actually, there was a project to develop much more of this. It was going to be a 1,600 hectare SEZ. Which would take up most of the area of the Bung Tat Luang. But it actually generated a kind of a rare level of public reaction against the project. And part of the reason is because of the proximity to Tat Luang, the stupa that we just passed, which is really, it's kind of a cultural jewel of the nation. So this is a Chinese development project, and there were rumors that it was going to become kind of an exclusive Chinatown. There are rumors that there would be 50,000 Chinese families coming in and moving here, and there was a big kind of concern about having this huge Chinatown so close to the national jewel. I think it's really just important to keep in mind this kind of Cold War history and the divides that were there, similar to what Dr. Carl was speaking about yesterday, as the Mekong was this divide between Thailand and Laos. This gives insight into an important chapter of Laos's history that explains a lot about what we see today. And I think coming here and looking at the history shows you how incredibly important it is to have that historical context in order to understand the kinds of developments that are happening now, including some of which we've looked at in Vientiane.